These 5 talking points will cover everything you need to know about the best team in the NBA next season, the Oklahoma City Thunder. From their dominance in the front court to the future most improved winner. But first, let's start with the head of the snake, Shai Gilgeous Alexander.
Giddy looking, inside, the pass, jump shot is up, it's good, with 1.8 remaining.
How good of a finisher do you think SGA is? This graph from NBA University shows us the 50 best drivers of the basketball in the league last season. Being higher means the player is more efficient on their drives, and further right is the amount of drives taken. LeBron James is an incredibly efficient finisher, and because of his age or other reasons, he doesn't drive as much as he probably should. Paolo Banchero, as good as he's going to be someday, isn't very efficient when it comes to drives. Giannis and Luka are both great, but surprisingly, Jalen Brunson took more drives to the basket than Giannis did last season. But where's SGA? Well, he's over here. Not only is Shai Gilgeous Alexander far and away first for drives in the NBA last season, but he was also able to remain deadly efficient. How is this even possible? I mean, he is several inches shorter than Giannis and Luka, but he's able to get open driving lanes to finish more often than they do. This is how. Here, Gordon is guarding Shai hard left, as he's trying to force him into the help of Royce O'Neal, which is obviously not a good position for SGA. To get out of this, he uses a head fake like he's going to go right, and Eric Gordon immediately bites on the fake, allowing SGA to go back away from the help, and with a quick spin move, he gets deep into the paint, as he's able to then take the contact of Drew Eubanks for a double clutch finish. Here out on the break, Grayson Allen will pick up Shai above the three-point line. With all this space behind him, Shai uses a tough in-and-out dribble to freeze Allen and then get right on by. Shai has elite rim pressure because of the sheer amount of drives he takes, and when you consider he's also a great mid-range jump shooter, this makes the defense have to play him super honest, which in turn opens up opportunities. Here it's the same in-and-out dribble to lose Beal, and with O'Neal trying to cover the lane, SGA reads it, so he takes the mid-range jumper instead. And here it's a similar story with Rui Hachimura, as he gets caught off balance trying to slide his feet, as SGA creates enough separation with the bump, as he then makes the uncontested mid-range fade. Out of the pick and roll is another way SGA can get buckets, as here Shai sees that Davis is in a deep drop coverage, so he takes and makes the mid-range jumper. Shai's mid-range game is what gets all the attention, but the truth is his dominance is in the paint, as that's what's opening up all these opportunities in the mid-range. This elite level driving ability allowed SGA to put up a ridiculous 30.1 points, 5.5 rebounds, 6.2 assists, and a league-leading 2 steals per game on elite shooting numbers of 53, 35, 87. Shai is undoubtedly one of the best scorers in basketball right now, and I know that a lot of the MVP discussions have been centered around Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic, but Shai Gilgeous Alexander should be right in those discussions also.
Jalen Williams veers left, pulls up, looking for the lead, and he got it! Jalen Williams, 2 seconds, 111, 109.
The second talking point for OKC in 2025 is just how good of a player Jalen Williams already is. In only his second season in the NBA, Jalen Williams just put up an efficient 19.1 points, 4 rebounds, 4.5 assists with 1.1 steals on a wildly efficient 54% shooting. These great numbers have many comparing him to a young Kawhi Leonard or Paul George because of 1, his height at 6'5", and 2, the way he scores the basketball. However, J-Dub has actually had just as good of a start to his career than Leonard or George did. In Kawhi's third season, after he had 2 seasons of consistent minutes, he was putting up 12.8 points, 5.1 rebounds, 6.2 assists, and 1.7 steals per game on 52% shooting in 29 minutes of action. Then for Paul George, it was a similar story to Kawhi, as it took 3 seasons to get 2 seasons of actual consistent minutes. And in season 3, George was averaging 17.4 points, 7.6 rebounds, 4.1 assists, and 1.8 steals on 41% shooting, but he did this in 37 minutes per game. In less minutes than PG, Jalen Williams averaged more points, a better shot percentage, and averaged more assists per game. With all this individual success, Jalen Williams could be in the running for the most improved player next season, and personally, I think he has a very good chance to win the award. His direct competition for the award will be Derek Lively of the Dallas Mavericks.
Lost the dribble, and now here's Kyrie running. Oh, so is Lively! That is a banger!
Jalen Johnson of the Atlanta Hawks.
On them, down in Georgia. Turnover time taken by Johnson. He's going to go all the way and throw it down. And one. Wow, what a way to start the game.
And Victor Wembanyama of the San Antonio Spurs.
Jones is going to be able to guard him. The screen, the drive. Oh, it's knocked away by Wembanyama.
If Jalen Williams can break out and win the Most Improved Player of the Year, the Oklahoma City Thunder will be well on their way to a deep postseason run once again.
Giddey has to find somebody, finds Holmgren, the turnaround shot to tie it, and Chet Holmgren with the three at the buzzer ties it at 117.
The third talking point that we need to get into about this OKC team is just how good Chet Holmgren is already. After not being able to suit up for his first season, Chet was able to get a feel a year, as even though he didn't see the court in year one, it still felt like he had experience when he watched him out on the court. There's no doubt that being around the team for the year, watching film and hitting the gym had an impact on his development, even though he didn't get to play. And for the majority of the season, it was a neck and neck race between him and Wemby for the Rookie of the Year. But late in the season, Wemby would find his form as he snagged the award late. However, this doesn't mean Holmgren had a bad season by any stretch, as he gave the Thunder 16.5 points, 7.9 rebounds, 2.4 assists, and a staggering 2.3 blocks per game on an efficient 53% shooting. His defense was truly remarkable. As for a rookie to be averaging as many blocks as Chet did is insane, but it kind of got overshadowed because he had to compete with Wemby's 3.6 blocks per game. All season long, Chet was able to be a presence in the paint on defense for the Thunder, here greeting DeJounte Murray at the rim and then blocking Jalen Johnson after the offensive rebound. Here with Gideon Dort trapping Doncic up high, it left Derek Jones Jr. by himself in the lane. Chet knows he has to pick his moment, as if he goes too early, Lively's going to get the alley-oop, and if he goes too late, that's going to be an open dunk for Derek Jones Jr. Really watch this, as Chet perfectly comes over at the moment he needs to swat it away. Here against Wemby, Chet is able to jump the passing lane, coming up with the steal. And now with Bam Adebayo, he has him trapped, forcing him to take a tough shot. Here with James Harden working on Isaiah Joe, Chet is again able to pick his moment as he comes up with another block. This kind of timing on defense isn't something we usually see from rookies. However, Chet and Wemby both possess this shot blocking ability super early in their careers. Although the Defensive Player of the Year award looks like a race between Rudy and Wemby, that's not entirely true, as if Chet can keep up these crazy defensive numbers and the Thunder have a top 3 defense next season, which they're likely to with the additions of Caruso and Hartenstein, there's no doubt that Chet Holmgren could win the award, which would not only be a huge boost for his resume, but his confidence going into another postseason. However, it's not just the defensive side of the ball that's so impressive with Chet, but it's also his offensive game. 16 points per game on 53% shooting aren't normal rookie numbers, as most rookies can't keep up with that kind of efficiency. However, Chet managed to do just that. His 3-point shooting is his most valuable asset, which he made at a 37% clip last season, and most importantly, he looked comfortable taking them. Now with a non-shooting big next to him in Isaiah Hartenstein, it's going to be very important that Chet keeps up this level of shooting, as in the postseason, Holmgren was unable to do so, only making 26% of his shots from downtown. Discussing his fit with iHeart is a talking point in itself, so let's take a deeper look into just how these two giants could coexist next to each other next season. Last season, the Thunder's biggest weakness was a lack of size and physicality, which was badly exposed during the postseason series against Dallas. Their struggles to secure rebounds and extend possessions on the glass were, in my opinion, the main reasons that they fell. So over the off-season, how did they address it? By adding Isaiah Hartenstein, who not only fills those gaps, but he's also one of the league's best when it comes to doing the dirty work. His size is key, as he may be an inch shorter than Chet, standing at 7 foot flat, but he's nearly 50 pounds heavier, giving him a completely different physical presence. Combine that with his surprisingly agile footwork and quick hands, and you've got an elite post defender. This is crucial because the best post scorer since Shaquille O'Neal plays in the same Western Conference, which is Nikola Jokic. The Thunder got lucky last season by avoiding Denver, but if they had faced Jokic, they wouldn't have had the size to stop him. Chet and Jay Will are just too small to handle somebody that physical, but with Hartenstein, they have a solid defender who can hold his own. zone. And it's not just about Denver, as teams like Dallas and Minnesota run lots of pick and roll plays trying to get to the basket. This is where Hartenstein's rim protection really shines. His combination of size, agility, and consistent activity in the paint helps alter shots around the basket. All this is to say that OKC have two of the best paint defenders in the NBA right now, but they do it in different ways. Chet is better equipped to be a help defender at this stage of his career because he hasn't got a lot of weight on him, whereas Hartenstein is better suited to be the primary matchup in the post, which makes this pairing a match made in heaven on defense. Where people start to question the Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Hartenstein front court is on offense, especially when it comes to the Thunder's signature 5-out offensive system. Even though Hartenstein isn't a three-point shooter and won't start taking them with OKC, they could still mimic a 5-out offense because of two key skills. Look at the Kings. Sabonis isn't a quality shooter either, but they often start with 5 players on the perimeter because he operates as the offensive hub in the middle of the floor. I'm not saying Hartenstein is Sabonis, but he does have two similar strengths, which is passing and screening. Isaiah can start plays from the top with off-ball movement and dribble handoffs, allowing him to connect the offense, which made him so effective in New York. Because of this, even if the Thunder had to give up a little bit offensively, they're going to be so much better defensively that the overall team is just going to be better, which is a truly scary thought for the rest of the NBA, especially if they can figure out their offense. Then the last talking point we need to get into is just how good the perimeter defense is going to be to complement that paint defense. The Thunder's backcourt defense might be just as dangerous as the frontcourt, as between Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, and SGA, who just led the NBA in steals per game last season, this is a truly terrifying defensive lineup, especially when you include Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein. Lou Dort gives you a bigger body who's capable of guarding up or down, which we saw a lot of last season. His on-ball ability paired with his size and strength makes Lou Dort an intimidating defender. Where Dort can be limited on defense though is when it comes to defending the paint, especially when he's defending up. But when you consider the fact that he now has Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren behind him, this won't matter nearly as much anymore. Dort ranks in the 93rd percentile on deflections, 91st in forced turnovers, and most impressively, he ranks in the 87th percentile for defensive versatility, which is due to his physical tools. And now when you consider that Lou Dort is their second best perimeter defender now, considering how good Alex Caruso is on defense, this is terrifying. Caruso's defensive scouting report on Crafted NBA is ridiculous, as he ranks in the 99th percentile for deflections, 100th in forced turnovers, 70th in defensive rebounds, 80th in rim defense, 87th in block percentage, and 80th in versatility, giving him an overall ranking in the 99th percentile. Caruso is the hardest working defender in the game, as he constantly overwhelms his matchup due to his high energy level both on and off the ball. Because of this, Alex Caruso has been used off the bench in small stints, as if he was to start or play more than 30 minutes a night, he would probably wear himself out. Then when we look at the defensive numbers for SGA, they're incredible for a guy who is good as he is offensively. Offensively, Shai gets compared to the best talents in the league, as his offensive numbers on Crafted NBA have him in the 99th percentile as an offensive player, but his defensive numbers are still really good, ranking in the 95th percentile in deflections, 75th in block percentage, 92nd in defensive versatility, and 62nd in defending without fouling, giving him a defensive percentage in the 84th percentile, which is incredible for a player of his caliber on offense. He's truly one of the better two-way players in the NBA, but never gets credit for it, as when we talk about who's better out of SGA and Anthony Edwards, we usually give the nod to Ant for defense, but the truth is, Shai's got better numbers than he does on defense. This Oklahoma City Thunder defense alone would be good enough to make a postseason run. But when you consider just how good offensively they could be as well, the Thunder are certainly the real deal next season, as they have perfectly constructed a roster to win an NBA championship. What record do you see this Oklahoma City Thunder team having next season? Let me know in the comments below.